Are we live? Oh, hold on. Let's see. Wow, I know that was a ridiculously up close look of my face. I apologize for that. Let me just get this going on my computer here because I'm not 100% convinced that I'm live. I see the live button, but I still don't know if I'm live. Well,
you're live.
Tells me I'm live. All right, I'm live. Okay. So, Sunny here. I don't know why I feel the need to tell you that every time, but I'm going to anyway because my name is on the Facebook page, but I don't know. It's just an urge I have, so I'm going to tell you. So tonight, sorry if you hear the noise, we've got a visitor that's going to join us. He's going to come here in camera. There he is, the little brown bear. Hey, buddy. Want to say hi to everybody? Say hello. This is Captain Beauregard Wiggle Pants. He's my little baby. And yes, he is. And yes, I spoil him, and he's allowed on our countertops. Don't tell anybody, though. He's up here scrounging for crumbs. Okay, so tonight is a pretty exciting topic, I might add, if you're a 12-year-old kid. Tonight we're going to talk about poop. It's pretty exciting. I'll be honest with you and tell you that my husband hates when I talk about poop because I'm constantly asking him about his. Is it okay? Did it hurt? What's it look like? He gets pretty aggravated at me. He's laughing over there now. He gets pretty aggravated at me. But realistically, I'm just checking to make sure things are going okay. Because he's not, you know, a super talky guy. So you kind of have to pick and prod and pry to get him to open up about things. And so I just want to make sure that things are going okay with him. But he is not appreciative of my poop talk. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to keep getting close there. I know it's not an amazing look. Okay, so poop. Here it is. It's super important. Poop is the gateway to health, or I like to call it that. Any client that comes into my office, anybody that sees me for a nutritional consultation, we always discuss poop, whether they want to or not. And the reason being is it gives me a huge insight into how they're doing, not only with what they're eating, how much water they're taking in, how well their digestion is going, but really just how they're feeling overall. So I wrote a blog yesterday. Let me get this up. I should have gotten it up before. So I wrote a blog yesterday. It's up on my page, and I will link it below at the end of this video. And it basically talks about all of the things that you need to look for when it comes to your poop. Let's get it up there. There's a cute little panda bear on my blog. Matthew, my husband, also hates pandas, so that's great. Okay, so these are the things that I'm going to ask anybody that comes into my office. I'm going to ask them how often they're going. I'm going to ask them, is it hard or difficult to pass? Do they feel like they're having to strain? Does it come out fairly easy? Do they have to sit there for a really long time before they can kind of get things moving along? Does it sink or does it float? I know that seems silly, but that's pretty important. And these are all things that you should be looking for the next time you use the bathroom. Are there edges on the poop? Meaning, like, is it flat and kind of edgy? Does it look like a ribbon, like, you know, a nice curly ribbon on a present? I'm going to ruin a lot of things for you tonight. One of them is ice cream, so keep that in mind. Is it overly foul smelling? So poop stinks. There's no hiding that. Everybody knows that poop stinks. But there's like stinky poop, and then there's like stinky poop. So if you have stinky poop, that's something that you don't want. What color is it? Color is important, and I'll break all these down here in just a minute. And then I usually ask them to describe what it looks like. And surprisingly, most people are pretty open about it. There's no such thing as TMI when it comes to poop in my office. So we're not going to be concerned about TMI tonight. Oh, that tea is hot. Okay, so, sorry, I have a hair in my mouth. Don't you hate when that happens? You know where else I get hairs a lot? My eyeballs. Oh, it's annoying. I must have like world's biggest eyeballs because at least like 3 times a day I get like a rogue hair in there, and I can't function until I get the freaking hair out of my eyeballs. Okay, so how often are you going? Everybody should poop 1 to 3 times a day. If you are pooping more than 3 times a day, Sorry, dog just messed up my camera. So if you're pooping more than 3 times a day, that's going to be an issue. If you're pooping less than once a day, that's also going to be an issue. So 1 to 3 times a day. Yeah, sorry I got off track. There's a conversation happening on my porch. Okay, and so is it hard or difficult to pass? It should not be hard or difficult to pass. I know that a lot of people like to use the restroom as their me time. They like to take something in there to read, hide from the world, whatever you want to do in there. But when you sit down to use the bathroom, it should not be a task. It should, Beauregard. He just really wants to be on camera. It should not be hard or difficult. It should be you sit down and things come out. You shouldn't have to grunt, strain, pull, hang on to the bottom of the bowl, clench. It shouldn't be any of that. It shouldn't be from a, oh, what's that movie, Matthew? With the $1 million guy. Yes, it shouldn't be like the Austin Powers movie with the guy, who does number 2 work for? It shouldn't be like that. You should just sit down and it should happen. Okay, so does it sink or does it float? It should sink. And the reason that it should sink is that floating means that some people say that floating is good. You can read 100 different blogs out there and they'll say floating's great because it means that you have a lot of fiber, and that's absolutely not true. Floating means that you are not digesting and absorbing your fats in your body well enough. So poop should sit at the bottom of the bowl. If you've got an occasional floating poo, that's perfectly fine. But if it's day after day after day where your poop is floating, that can mean that you have a greater issue going on. So if the edges are flat or the stool is ribbon-like, that could mean that you need to go to your physician and let them know what's going on. It could mean that you have possibly a polyp, or maybe you have an internal hemorrhoid or something like that. But it's definitely something that you want to get checked out because it could possibly mean there's a blockage going on. And then overly smelling poop is an indication that you've probably got something larger going on in your small or large intestine that's causing some changes in the smell. Color should be brown. The only people that get discolored poop is kids. Green is okay. Let me back up. So if you eat lots of beets, if you're a beet lover, I don't know who would, oh, beets are just disgusting. They taste like dirt. They're very healthy, but they do taste like dirt. If you eat a lot of beets, you can get red poop. So if you had a beet and the next day you poop red, don't immediately think that you were dying because you're hemorrhaging from your rectum. It just means that you had a beet. Just calm down and think back and, okay, I had a beet yesterday. If you're not a routine beet eater and you have a red stool and you didn't eat a beet, you should probably go to the doctor. But otherwise, poop should be brown. If it's yellow, that's an indication also that you're not digesting and absorbing fats well enough. And then, so what it should look like, this is what I always tell people, is your poop should look like soft serve ice cream. I know, it's a visual that you probably don't want to have right now. Next time you have soft serve ice cream, you're going to have it come out of the machine and it's going to be swirling around and you're going to think about poop. And maybe you already have, because sometimes I think about poop when I see soft serve ice cream. But that's what it should look like. It should look like soft serve ice cream. That indicates that you are drinking plenty of water, you've got plenty of fiber going on in your body, you're eating lots of fruits and vegetables, so the color should be brown, it should be sinking, and it should look like soft serve ice cream, and it should not be difficult to pass. So here is a nifty little chart. I did not print this earlier, but I'm going to show you here off of my computer. Let's see if you can see it. Oh, you probably can't. I'll just link one below. So it's called the Bristol Stool Chart. If you've never taken a look at the Bristol Stool Chart, you should. It's pretty entertaining, mainly because it's got pictures of poop on there. But you can kind of pick out which one yours looks like, determine where you lay in the chart, and then kind of get an idea of things that you can do a little bit better. So the Bristol Stool Chart goes from 1 to 7. 1 is like rabbit poop. It's kind of pellety. 2, you're getting a little bit harder. There are some pellets, but it's a little formed. They say that 3 and 4 is good. 3 is a log, 4 is soft serve ice cream. I would argue that 3 is still a little bit hard for what I would like. And then 5, 6, and 7 is when you're getting into the looser PC, closer to diarrhea. Those are also what you don't want. So when you look at a Bristol stool chart, you want a 4. So remember that, 4. And I'll put a link to the Bristol stool chart below so you can look at it. Or you can Google Bristol stool chart and it'll come up. Okay, so things that you can do to change your poop if you are not pooping enough, if you are pooping too much throughout the day. There are certain things that you can do to help regulate your bowels. The first thing that I will always ask people is, are you drinking enough water? You should absolutely be drinking enough water. And there is a very specific calculation for water. The easiest thing to do is to take your body weight, half it, and drink that in ounces. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you would half that into 50, and you should drink 50 ounces of water a day. Whatever you sweat out through the gym, running, exercise, whatever, that does not count towards your water intake during the day. The next thing that I always ask is, are you eating enough fiber? You should be getting 25 to 35 grams of fiber every day. There's 2 forms. There's soluble and insoluble fiber. Insoluble fiber is basically what it says. It doesn't break down in the body. It passes through the body in the same form that you took it in. You find insoluble fiber, and you will find it in some vegetables and whole grains, but that kind of fiber you definitely find in refined grains. Soluble fiber starts to break down when it comes in contact with water in your digestive tract, and it kind of creates like a sludge. And what it does is it helps to slow down the digestive process so that you can actually start to absorb a lot of the nutrients that you're taking in. And so 25 to 35 grams of fiber every day is what you are shooting for. Most people don't get that because we're not eating enough fruits and vegetables and whole grains today. So yeah, water and fiber. Those are usually the first 2 places that you want to start. Let's see, stress. Oh, I cannot say enough about stress. So if you are a high stress individual, if you, and these are for people that have diarrhea. So the first one is for people that experience a little bit of constipation. Maybe they're not going every day, or maybe they find their stools are too hard or difficult to pass, and maybe they're a 1, 2, or 3 on the Bristol stool chart. Increase your water, increase your fiber. So these are for people that are a 5, 6, or 7. So they're leaning towards the diarrhea side. Those people want to first look at, isn't he so precious? Those people want to look at, I lost my train of thought because he's so cute. He's so cute. So diarrhea, stress. If you have a lot of diarrhea, if you're going more than 3 times a day, and you're noticing that it's a lot looser, the first thing that I usually tell people is to really take a good look at stress in your life. Stress from work, stress from home life, stress from bills, stress from running around, too hectic of a lifestyle, all of that can cause digestive issues. Too much exercise or too much of the wrong kind of exercise can also cause stress in the body. So exercise causes stress in a good way. We need that type of stress from time to time. But what happens is sometimes I'll have people come into my office and they're exercising too much, or they're doing too much of one type of exercise, and it's causing too much stress on their body on top of possibly already being a high stress individual. So we kind of rein in their stress a little bit, get them working out on a little more consistent schedule with a little bit less of the high intensity, constant, balls to the wall type running stuff. And they'll notice that their bowels will start to calm down a little bit. So if you have looser stools more than a couple times a day, or you're consistently loose all the time, you definitely want to take a good look at the stress in your life. Good de-stressors are walking outside, having an outlet, meditation, don't knock it till you've tried it, maybe reading, relaxing in a bath, taking 5 minutes to yourself, doing something fun, creative, laughing. That's a huge one. So we can't necessarily take stress out of our life, but looking at the stress that we have and seeing what we can do to curb it, combat it, have an alternative to it is going to play a huge role, not only in our overall health and wellness, but also for our digestive tract. Stress can cause bloating as well. My husband keeps telling me I should write a book called Stress Belly.
Do it.
Do it. I don't like to write. That's my problem. Okay, and see, and I don't like to talk either. I feel like I'm out of breath because I'm like dying and I know people are watching me and I'm really sweaty. That's why I always wear like dark colored shirts because I don't like people looking at me. I know I'm in the wrong field. Okay, so probiotic, that could help. I'm a bigger fan of eating fermented food. So whether that is, if you are a dairy consumer, you can try kefir or kefir. Everybody pronounces it a little bit different. Or fermented veggies. Oh my God, they are so good. So you can go into any store today and find fermented vegetables. And you can take a couple of tablespoons. You can eat it right out of the jar because they are that good. Or you can take a cracker and scoop it out. But a couple tablespoons of fermented vegetables is all you need each day to get your daily probiotics in. So I would start there. That's a really good way to help either or loose stools or harder stools. And then the last one, and this is really, really important, is you could possibly be eating something that just doesn't agree with your digestive tract. So sometimes when I see clients and they continue to have disordered bowels, we look at what they're eating. We try to track down something that they might be eating that might be causing them a little bit of bloat or a little bit of bowel distress. So that's always something to bear in mind as well. You could be eating something over a long period of time that's adding to the inflammation in the digestive tract, leading to the diarrhea and the bloating and those types of things. So, well, that's poop in a nutshell. Let's see. Ooh, oh, I got a question. Yay! Oh, and ice cream. Yes, so my husband put ice cream there, so you could always remember that soft serve ice cream is what you're looking for. I think strawberry was the wrong color. You picked strawberry. It should definitely be like chocolate or like swirl or something like that. Okay, so one question says, are fiber pills a good substitute for your daily fiber intake? So, fiber pills. I would prefer that you consume the fiber through fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Whole grains looks like brown rice, quinoa, Ezekiel bread. You can get Ezekiel wraps, 100% whole wheat bread, 100% whole wheat wraps, oatmeal, oat bran. You can get like an occasional bran muffin, fruits and vegetables. All of those have the really good fiber. If you tell me I cannot stand any of those, they're absolutely gross, and no matter what you tell me, I am never going to consume that, then I would say a fiber mix could be beneficial. I'm not a fan of fiber pills in the capsules themselves, and the reason being is that it's really hard in your body to try to break down all of those capsules, because when you're taking a fiber supplement in pill form, you're typically taking anywhere from 6 to 10 capsules a day, and that's really only going to get you about 4 to 5 grams of fiber. So it might fill the gap, but like a mix itself is going to be a better option than the pill form, but any type of whole grain is going to be good. Nuts have fiber in it if you like nuts and seeds, like pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. If you can handle a smoothie every day, you can put some flax in your smoothie. 2 tablespoons of flax has about 4 to 5 grams of fiber in it. So there's a lot of fiber in flaxseed or ground flaxseed. But if you can handle it, I would say making a good high fiber muffin and eating like half in the morning, half in the evening would be a much, much better option than doing a fiber supplement. And that is it, kiddies. That is all my questions. You like my plaid today? It's my go-to shirt. My husband has plaid on too. We're twinsies. Plaidsies. Okay, so what I will do, since that is all the questions I have, I will link the Bristol stool chart below so you can take a look and figure out where your poop range is on it. Remember, we're shooting for 4. 1 through 3 is constipation. 5 through 7, had to get my math right, 5 through 7 is looser to diarrhea. So we're aiming for 4, which is soft serve ice cream. So you want chocolate soft serve ice cream. And then I will also link to the blog that I wrote yesterday. It came out, which kind of goes a little bit more in depth than I went. It's not as entertaining as me. I mean, come on, but that's there. All right. And if you are watching this later, you can feel free to post your questions below, even if you want to tell me how cute my dog is, because he's so super cute. Then I'll say thank you, because he is adorable. All right. Well, that's it, kitties. Have a good night, and I'll see you next Tuesday, because we're doing this every Tuesday. I'll see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central.